Hello everyone. Ah, Today, hold up. Okay, so today we are back with some more The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. And yesterday, I mean, it was literally like around 12 hours ago, basically, but I don't know, I like this game so much that I just want to keep playing. So we're just going to delve right into it. Let me just switch to the game. Perfect. And now, let us continue The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. November 22nd, 1:14 p.m. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom? Ah, a judicial assistant, and a woman no less. Wow, ouchie. Wow. We're starting strong today, I see. The rules state that females. Oh my god, you even used it. Oh my, okay. That females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify. Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. Ah, you're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded. 5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more. But, Your Excellency! I am most grateful. Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something written in English. It's Jesail Brett's research. The English woman's? After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper. Oh, yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of curar and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Curar? Curare? What's that? Never heard that word before. Time's up. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom. There was too little time for me to read it in detail. I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it. This is wonderful. Thank you. The sales report has been entered into the court record. A report detailing an unknown poison that Miss Brett has been researching during her time at Yume University. Goodbye then, and good luck. You have had long enough, Counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. Okay, let's look into this. Wait, no. Synopsis. A poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Special characteristics. Effects. Instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Route of entry. The above mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Practical applications. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. I see. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but... The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency. Yonosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Red. Wait, hold up. I need to do something first. I think... There we go. Well, Miss Red. Yes, Your Excellency. If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely decline. Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense. My apologies, dear lady. So, Counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention?
Yes!
Miss Jesail Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yume University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison. What? Poison? Where are you going with this, Counsel? A toxin known as curare, or curer, or whatever, Your Excellency. When the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection!
What complete and utter nonsense. Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have done. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before, for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they would never identify curare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. What? Order! 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 Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists. To lace their arrows? The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. Not a deadly poison! Yeah, exactly, like, who could have seen that coming? Welcome in, Empirical Woodland. It was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curare, curer, I think I'm just going to say curare, suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Trumpery! These aspirations are utter trumpery! To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been screaming and writhing in pain, and the other diner would have surely noticed. That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around. What do you mean, the other way around? The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curare was used. Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he would collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. Thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe, it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. That's hideous. To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was sleeping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this daily curare poison. And you are suggesting that this bottle, Council, actually contains this terrifying poison?
Objection!
This is all very convenient, isn't it? Hit her toe. Unknown poison. Hit her toe? Hit her toe? Is that how you pronounce that word? Unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense. Ahem, if I may. All these facts, you think you're so clever, but you must be taught some... It is you who must be taught. Oh, of course. Dear lady. So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the result as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Red, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? Hit or two. Okay, got it. Thank you. What, hit or hit? Either two? That really is a loathsome act, wouldn't you agree?
Objection!
Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the Grand Empire of Japan is breaking the rules. What's so funny? Oh, excuse me. I was going to say excusez-moi for some reason. Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Red? Heath with a soft th sound like with. Hitherto. Hitherto. Okay, I see. Thank you, Imperial Woodland. May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please? Well, yes, I don't see, why not? Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. Wait, lady, you live in another island. Great Britain is an island. What are you talking about? Sorry? To an English woman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics. It's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers! Wait, what? What are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. They think it's a planet to itself. Yeah. Goodness. Whatever is the matter, you all look quite stunned. So, no curare. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying? Ha ha ha. You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Ah, yes, Miss Brett. I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time to the furtherance of friendship between our countries. Ah, yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have given. This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how? How did she... How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it. Well, I suppose if nothing else, little Far Eastern charade will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have killed over dead. Come on, Ryonosuke. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water. Contains no poison. Because on this... Yeah, the above mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, not while drinking. So... Because I mean, he couldn't have gotten the poison through drinking. And he still has like that hole in his chest. So it must not be the bottle then. As I thought, there is no poison in that bottle. What? Why, Ryonosuke? Isn't it obvious? There was poison in there, she'd be dead by now. Sometimes your unadulterated naivety really astounds me. But sometimes it's in need of a good staining. And... what? Oh, is that what this color is supposed to represent? Was a guileless ending to a promising line of inquiry with counsel. I mean, yeah, but like... even if he... I mean... sure, there could be poison, but like... hold on. Huh. Okay, then I guess it's the other option. I mean, both could technically make sense if you think them hard enough, I guess. Come on, Ryonosuke, we have all the clues now. Yeah, it contains poison, I guess. The culprit did put curare poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change his position. You're serious?
Objection!
Paul, are you blind? There is no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw... Miss Brett drinking the water from it? That's right, which rather complicates your argument, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained. How, exactly? I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. Has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, Oh, I forgot that there was actually like a gunshot. Like the gunshot is actually a gunshot, not just a dart or anything like that. So yeah, this was the logical answer. I just forgot that part. Then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed? The poison was in the baby this whole time. Yeah, like the baby was carrying it. How the witness was able to consume this? Like, it has to be this, right? Oh! Okay, so the wound on this case would be the tooth that has been removed. That is the wound. That is where from where the poison is acting up. So it has to be either this or the medical report. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed? Because it's a wound. Like, you need an actual wound, a physical wound, so that it gets into your bloodstream.
Yes!
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Objection!
That's not a valid explanation. No. After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency. I'm not trying to ridicule anyone. Honest, I'm just reading Susato-san's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, Counsel. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer of this riddle? It has to be special characteristics. We've been hearing a lot about this curare poison. And it's left me curious about something. Oh, Counsel? Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years. To lace the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey that they are hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat. Get to the point, please. But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they would be eating poison. Good gracious, Counsel! No, that would be madness. But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? See, that makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever. What? Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew curare's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. Well, that was a mouthful to say. You meddling little... Oh my god, the swan is alive! Rapscallion! Oh my god, this one is actually alive. Wow. Well, Rionsuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer?
Objection!
All in this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how it possibly... Yeah, we predicted that last night too, yeah. So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. And I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboy's logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboy's flaw? As even your brain has managed to deduce, curare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric suckers. Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers? What are they? So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? Ah! That's right! Good gracious! That's basic science. Things that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no? Order! Order in the court! Order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest? Yes! This curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. That's right. You're leaving a little cockroach like you to understand something as simple as that. What is this, welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. More than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Objection!
I don't think so, Miss Jesselbred. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallow the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As we know now that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the curare? Because he did have a wound in his mouth.
Take that!
As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, he drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference? The toxic effects of curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So, for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Miss Red, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. So that's it. You use that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are all so puerile. What? What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No! I mean, you could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. I mean, if that isn't claiming guilty, it's the Englishwoman. She just smashed that bottle in the Supreme Court. What a terrible blunder. Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible. At once. You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. I mean, you could just whiz real hard and extract it like that, like it's a towel. But you know. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. And I'm afraid we'll never know now. We'll never, know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle. Or not. You. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? Oh, of course, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady. Wow, this case is still going. That's right, and really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
Objection!
No! You killed the victim that day, using curare. And then, in order to frame Ryunosuke and Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you had arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see? You had every opportunity to commit this crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, I did? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but I don't have a shred of evidence. Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Ugh. Oh, sorry. This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her. But now, is she really going to get away with it? We she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryunosuke. Yes? We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. In my head? Tell me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend upon. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of this same scene in my head, there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? I mean, it's literally right there. Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. Huh. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on then! Let's wipe the smug smile off that English woman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. But maybe this could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere. The clue that shows that Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is... I mean, it's literally the stain of clear blood, right?
Take that!
Inspector Hosonaga. Hosonaga? Hosonaga. Answer me this. Yes? What is it? Ugh, he's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day?
Objection!
I have not seen this game before, but it's beautiful looking. Okay, lady, hold up, I'm reading chat. I have not seen this game before, but it's beautiful looking. Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. It's surprising because it's actually a remake, well, more like a port, enhanced version of the 3DS games from 2015 and 2017, I think. But they look like gorgeous. It's incredible, and I'm like having so much fun with this. Right now, we're trying to convict this lady, and it's like she has a swan on her head. That's like the swan is alive. That's don't made up. The swan literally moved earlier. It might move again, but you know, we're trying to convict her of poison, of killing someone with poison. Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a spattering of blood. What? Oh really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Yeah, I expected it to look more like the reunions. Yeah, me too. But it looks like perfect. Like it's exactly as it should be. Yeah, the swan hat is like legit insane. I don't know what Shark is talking about and the swan never moved. Well, Empirical, come on. Don't do this to me. We both saw the swan move. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way the blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Ah! Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite us from the professor as you were. Yesail bread! I beg your pardon.
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing?
Hold it!
This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean? Yes, I took the plate, in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care. Wow, you took the entire meat. And I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Red. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. I took everyone's steak. And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a blood stain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it, now! So, the contest here is that the waiter was actually like a police undercover working at the restaurant. And after the crime happened, he just went around and took everything. Like you usually do in a finish rate game, but he did it for you. Inspector. The court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table. Immediately. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? Of course there isn't. Quickly, Inspector. The blood, man. Show the court. Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. No. No blood. No blood anywhere. What? But no! That's impossible! I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. With an unbecoming expression, little boy. The rule of... Oh god, there's the sun. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. The rule of law in these games is whack at the best of times. The prosecutor handled the murder weapon just after it happened. Yeah, exactly. Ugh. I couldn't agree more. In the case of this disgrace to the Empire. I believe we may have finally reached a conclusion in this trial. Let's hope so. This, let's pretend, attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. Ah, this sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest. The meal Miss Brett ordered for lunch. It was removed from the victim's table after the incident. Was the plate I saw, or thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination? Well, there's only one way to find out. Oh? Huh? What the? What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin. And the hallmark is from the Hoi era, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it? I mean, what's it doing there? So there were two witnesses prior to these two earlier in the trial, and one of them claimed that his Koban coin was stolen or gone missing. Wait, did you say it was a Hoi Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today that there has been a talk of a Hoi Koban. I've heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion in bouillon. And I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary though. This means... Yeah, this is not the plate that was used in the crime scene. I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. It's from the Hoi era too, that would make it really quite valuable. It's well marinated in the juices as well, look. What? Are you thinking of eating me? No. But the next time I order a steak in an expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's going to be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a price. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Ryunosuke. One coin underneath this steak. There's only one logical explanation. And there's like literally nothing else to see here, so... This is it now. I've lost. Ryunosuke. We literally just flipped the meat and saw the coin. What are you talking about? It's not over yet. Not until the final gable. Gable? It's the king cake version of a steak. Yeah, exactly. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? There is another clue. Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth.
Objection!
The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beef steak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm so sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied with that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. This judge is like the good kind of judge. Like, he doesn't care, he just wants the truth. Counsel for the defense. You will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. Where precisely on this plate of beef steak is this new clue to be found? I mean, should be right here.
Got it!
No, Counsel. I'm afraid that won't do. I was ambiguous at best. When you're asked to identify a detail like this... What? But it was like... The answer right here? Yeah, it's like literally beneath the meat. Like, what am I supposed to do? Do I have to get rid of the meat? Do I have to eat the meat? Like, do I have to click on the border of the meat? Like, is that it? I don't see like anything else, really.
Got it!
Game? Hello? I'm going to save just in case because, like, I don't know. Like, I have the answer. Now the game is just being dumb. Which, I mean, it happens with all Ace Attorneys at some point. Like... Like, maybe... I don't know, like... We know it's there. It's like the game being very dumb. I have had these issues with Danganronpa 2 where I know the info, but it wants something really specific. Like... Yeah, I can click on the coin again, we learn all of this again. And that's everything that I can do. Oh, I had to press the only button that is not down here, like you see the history and autoplay buttons. I had to press space to lift up the meat first, you know? Like, yeah, that is the control. But like, I don't know, like, What in the world is this? I think it's a common coin. We already read all of this, so I'm just going to skip right through it. And now I have to present that.
Got it!
Good. Good gracious, that's... A common? What on earth? A Hoi era one at that. Miss Red, this is in fact the beef steak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
Shut up!
I love this one. What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what it is, but I want no part of it.
Objection!
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat. That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction.
Objection!
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen? A rare Hoi Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak? If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I will rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right. Can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency. Yes, Counsel? A rare Hoi Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak? If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I will give up my lawyer job right now.
Objection!
Damn, Ryonosuke, just stealing praises from Kazuma. By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Shut up!
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. Even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under that stake. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the coin that was found underneath the beefsteak is... Kyuryo Korekuta, who was hunting for a lost Hoi era gold Koban coin at the time of the incident.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer of an owner of Rasutei, Kyuryo Korekuta-san. Kyuri? As in Mr. Cucumber or something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his Koban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the Hoi era Koban, my prized coin. Then this Hoi era Koban, do you mean to tell me?
Attention!
No. Please, why would Korekuta-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense.
Yes!
Which is why I'm asking to bring Korekuta-san back to the witness stand, so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. We've already gone like 5 hours through this case, and it's still going. Like, I know I'm repeating myself, but this case is very long for a first case in any Ace Attorney game. I can't believe we've come back around to that pair again. I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this Koban, we'll find that it's a key element in the case. Yeah, the sergeant has his baby with him. What's this all about? Why have I been called up again? Don't you realize that it's dinner time for little baby Aido? When my son's belly is empty, he's fiercer than a pack of wolves. Exploited by the police, we were, like miserable dogs, forced to bear false witness. Sir, would you mind keeping the knife away? Thank you. And when cast from this courtroom, myself, I became a ruined man in a trice. A worthless, withered antique. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on this Rasutei shop owner's existence. The baby did it. I stand by that. Imagine if it was like the baby. The baby shot the gun. By accident, of course, but... Be that as it may, Korekuta-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasutei memory serves, have you ever... Ah! Yes, that's the one! The very one! The very exact one that it is! The resplendent, splendiferous Hoi treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be. As I thought. Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool. Put me out of my No, sir, please, we don't want to do that. Where? Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices. Sandwich? Soaking? Seriously? Clearly, it couldn't have fallen there by accident. Which means... somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my Hoi treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate? Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing. Excuse me. Did I say something? Yes, of course. Proceed, Inspector Hosonaga. I mentioned this earlier on in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Ah, yes, that's right. A secret undercover operation. La Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts, targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. Wicked crimes indeed. We wanted to nip the case in the bud quickly, especially with so many foreigners being affected. So that's why you were sent in undercover, is it? Yes, I took on the job of waiter at the restaurant in order to flush out the criminal. It seems likely that this common incident is the work of the same thief. So unbeknownst to us, there was a master thief at work in the restaurant on a regular basis. The place was already the scene of several crimes, it seems. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Calcutta-san's common is all too clear. What? What? I think the court would like to hear the defense's view on this matter. Tell us, who is the despicable scoundrel that took Calcutta-san's common and hid it under the stake? I mean, it could have only been him. Because they were sitting together, they were having dinner together. Hey, Blue Parrot, welcome in. We're still going. Like, we thought it was over. No, we're still going. We're back to the coins. Remember the coin that was gone missing? The coin is back. Hey, Damencito, welcome in. Yeah, the coin is back, and I think that it was the sergeant that did it, but because I'm like really low on tries because of some dumb stuff earlier about choosing a very specific point to present, I'm going to save and present the guy.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be you, Sergeant Iyesanosa. What? How dare you? You monster! Monster? I stole that command, did I? I'm the master thief of La Carnival, did I? Am I? You're seriously accusing me of these crimes, cadet. It wasn't me. It was Aido. It was the baby. Empirical Woodland, I would have to say that you were partially correct. Hello, I'm Jesu. I'm here with Blue Parrot. Hey, Jesu, welcome in. I hope you are all having a fantastic evening. Oh my god, hold up. Thank you for the water. I spilled some of it. Hold up. It was the baby all along. Give me just a second. I literally can't believe it was the baby. If the baby suddenly starts speaking right now, I will literally cry. Aido, how could you? Yes, Jesus says hi, we're watching from her house. Oh, I see. You would push the blame for your crimes onto your own son? An innocent little baby? It's you who's the monster, Sergeant Nosa. Give it the club, 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 give it the club. Oh my god, that baby just killed a man. It's literally Ratatouille. Nippon Imperial Army, Sergeant Iyesanosa, preparing to stand down in the Supreme Court, sir. breakdown animations in this series is like the best thing ever. Do any of you know of the extraordinarily low wages the Nippon Imperial Army pays those it expects to keep our country safe? He literally turned into Waluigi. This man literally became Waluigi. I understand that the temporary increase in taxation owing to the recently ended conflicts remains in place. And I have heard it's hard for lower ranking soldiers to make a living, yes. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant? The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days, I would go there and do reconnaissance for a target. And I would enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. It sounds like he doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable. It's always taxes, yeah. And your target that day was the old man and his command. Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the steak I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Yes, when the professor was shot. I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. I do too. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could. On the double. I slipped it under the steak, hoping that I'll be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. Phantom Thief, you say? Yeah. So there's been a lady with a mask, and now Phantom Thief mentions... Is this a Persona reference? Is this a Persona 5 reference? I mean, I probably not, but... Oh man, that old man is like literally twitching with anger. This is ridiculous. Perhaps you could carry on with this absurd prattling in your own time. Well, Miss Red. Oh, of course, dear lady, of course. How rude of us. I'm quite sure there's no need to detain you any longer at all. Praise the sun. May the esteemed gentlewoman please be excused, Your Excellency. Indeed. The theft of the command was clearly perpetrated by this baby saddle sergeant. It would certainly appear to be unrelated to Dr. Wilson's murder. It's the same universe. Oh, wait, really? Are you like making this up right now, or is it like actually like true? Of course it is. Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astonishes me. Nonsense, is it? Well, oof. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Missile better be in this game. Very well. Now that all questions concerning this witness's testimony have been answered, I see no further justification for detaining her. Miss Red, you are free to leave. Thank you, Your Excellency. Good luck, everyone. And good day. Ryunosuke is not having any of this. Ryunosuke, what's the matter with you? This is no time for daydreaming. Oh, no, it's just... Something about Miss Red's parting words there got me thinking. Can't quite work out what exactly, but something she said jarred with me. Thank you, Excellency. Good luck, everyone, and good day. I mean, it's literally just normal words, but it says attorney, so maybe they could mean a secret message or something like that. No, I'm just joking. Oh, okay. I feel like there was a contradiction in there somewhere. She said a good day, when this is clearly a bad day. Something didn't quite add up. That's the case. Don't just stand there thinking. Make your voice heard. Sorry? You can think later. If you don't call out now, it will be too late. The trial will be over.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Red. What is it now? I'm afraid, just one last time. There's something I would like to ask you. I would like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago. What are you talking about? What contradiction?
Objection!
What new student nonsense is this? Well, what parting words are you talking about, Ryunosuke? Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. As for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Yes, I'm right. What she said there exposed an undeniable contradiction. I'm going to need to see evidence, Counsel. If Miss Brett's words are truly contradictory, where is the evidence to prove it? This plan of the restaurant raises a number of questions, I think. Definitely. It's supposed to show the relative position of everything in the moments following the incident. But there is nothing to show the woman you say you saw there. Exactly, and that's not all. Look here in the upper left where it says kitchen. Oh yes, what of it? No one would use those complicated characters to write kitchen. Especially not if they were in a hurry. You mean you don't remember those characters yourself, don't you? Study harder. No, like... Okay, so if this is where the victim was sitting, and she was sitting here, like maybe either here or here, but we don't know where the others were sitting. That's the thing. Am I missing something? Hiding a coin under a lump of meat. The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. It's pure madness. Like, it has to be something about the fork or and the knife. Like, from her angle, she must have seen it happen. But how can I prove this? How can I... Because the meal that she was eating herself, like she was using the knife and fork, as per usual. Like... If anyone has like any idea or like any suggestion, I would very much welcome it right now. Because I'm stuck between the plans of the the map of the restaurant, or maybe one of the pictures. Dr. Ace Wilson, time of death. Cause of death. Single bullet fired at close range. Fatal thingy from vectorial ballistic trauma. No exit wound. Bullet did not pass through the body. I feel like I'm grasping, but it has to be the knife and fork, right? I'm going to save just in case. Hmm. I mean, like here, the fork seems to be clean. And we cannot barely see the... But here seems to have been used. Like here it's obviously been used. Like you can see the stains of the meat on it. But it's not here. Do I just present this? Yeah, I would like a hint. Is it like one of the photos or anything like that? Because I feel like it has to be with the knife and the fork. It's one of the photographs. Yeah, I was thinking that it had to be one of those. Okay, got it. I mean, I don't think this is the one. Because there's the only thing that we can see here is her handbag and the victim's wrist. Which we already went over this detail earlier and over this earlier. So it has to be one of these two. It has to be... Well, I can just reload if things go bad, but I think this is the one. Because the fork hasn't been used.
Take that!
This is the evidence right here. I don't think it is. Yeah, this is not the one. I should have the one with the other one. Yeah, hold up. Let me just... Nothing to see here. I mean, it has to be this one, right? At this point, this is like the only thing that I'm grasping at.
Take that!
The photographic print of the scene taken immediately after the incident occurred. What's interesting is the plate of steak that you can see on the victim's table. The steak that Miss Brett had been eating before the professor was killed. Yes, go on. More accurately, Your Excellency. Oh, it's the bite marks, right? Like the bite marks don't really add up because one has been chomped and the other has been cut with a knife. Is that it? Is that the thing that I was not looking at? Steak that was on the victim's table just before the professor was killed. Now you're just splitting hairs. Not true. Doesn't something about this steak strike you as very unnatural? Unnatural? What on earth do you mean? Lol, you read my mind for what hint I was going to give. It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it has been eaten. I see you have noticed it too, Miss Red. Notice what, exactly, Counsel? Just a few moments ago, Miss Brett claimed no Englishman could even contemplate picking up a steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork. Of course she did. She's a refined English gentlewoman herself. Then take a good look at this steak, in particular, the edge where it has been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric teeth marks there. Ah! Oh! Ah! It looks like Miss Brett has realized something. So, if the witness, as she claims, wouldn't contemplate eating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all.
Objection!
But what is your actual point? Perhaps the delightful Miss Brett was ravenously hungry. Oh, whatever you say, dear lady. As I said, I really must be leaving now. Afternoon tea with the Minister of Justice cannot possibly wait any longer. Of course, of course. This will be over in the blink of an eye. Rest assured, I'm about to put this rook in his place. I've heard enough. You irritating little spectacled samurai relic. Of course. Dear lady. I like to think that this version of Pain, this outie guy has like a shaggy voice for some reason. What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? Clearly, the witness knows what this means. She has realized the catastrophic implication these teeth marks in the steak have for her. Ryunosuke, do you know where you're going with this? Yes. Now at last, it's all come together. The mysterious teeth marks in a steak that had all allegedly been eaten with cutlery. The reason why the blood stain I know I saw somehow seems to have disappeared. And most importantly, the evidence that proves once and for all who shot Dr. Wilson that day. I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are literal, natural as you put it. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Conclusive evidence. How many times have I heard that today? You will know the meaning of the phrase. Typical Japanese empty threats. What the hell is that sound alert? I think... Oh yeah, Kelly, thank you for following. Sorry, I didn't hear it. For whatever reason. But yeah, thank you for following, Kelly. Welcome in. Wait, didn't that pop up? Hold up. Should be there. Welcome in, Kelly. I don't know why it's not looking up. I will fix it up later. Man, I thought I had tested everything before going live the other day. Oh, it's quite simple. If you really had such conclusive evidence, you would have presented it to the court long ago. Just kept hearing it and thought I was going mad. Actually, the evidence I'm talking about hasn't been brought before the court yet. Hasn't been... What? But just because it hasn't been shown yet, doesn't mean that the evidence does not exist.
Objection!
This is absurd. This trial has run several hours already. And you say there's evidence yet to be brought forward? There can't be. I don't believe you have it.
Objection!
I don't. But there is someone who does have it. Someone in this very courtroom. And if that person is willing to submit the piece of evidence I'm referring to, it will solve every remaining mystery about this case. The baby! Get him! Very well. I have a feeling that this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence that will reveal the truth about this whole affair? So, like way up above, like way up. Ah, we cannot go any further. That's fantastic. Like, Satoru Hosonoga said that he took the beef that the lady was eating, the beef that the surgeon was eating. Like he took everything basically. So he should be the one holding it. Put the baby on the stand. I'm going to save just in case.
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It's Inspector Hosonaga. What? I have it? Yes. You think I've been withholding conclusive evidence? That's ridiculous. No, I'm not saying that. Everyone's attention has been focused on this stake with the teeth marks. Yes? Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I would enjoy chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Korekuta's son's coin, he told us that he slipped it under the steak. You watch it, cadet. I'm a superior officer. Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the steak that you put the coin under, in fact, your own steak? Tension! Affirmative, of course. I may be a soldier in the Imperial Nippon Army, but still. I'm not brave enough to ask a foreign gentle lady if she wouldn't mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the steak that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal.
Objection!
But that makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's table.
Objection!
Yet, the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. Even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly. Surely you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two steaks over. Wow, you finally say like something that's actually smart in this whole trial. You did switch the plates? Well, after it happened, when I saw the civilian had been murdered right in front of my eyes like that, I panicked. They said I immediately lifted my stake to hit the coin underneath. But then when the waiter announced that he was an undercover policeman, I thought I had it. If he decided to investigate my slab of meat, that would be it. I'd be getting my marching orders. So, when the cadet here was arrested and taken off to the kitchen, I seized my chance. With military precision and timing, I switched my steak with the one on the foreign lady's table. What? You can't have. I never saw you do such a thing. It was called Operation Lightning Bolt. There was no time for strategic planning. It was do or die, I tell you. So yes, I did what had to be done. Unbelievable. However, fear not, Prosecutor Sam. What now? I swear on the brass buttons of my uniform. That is all I did, sir. All you did? That's plenty, Sergeant.
Yes!
So, if Sergeant Nosa switched the plates over, it means he took Miss Brett's steak, and the plate it was on, back to his own table. Yes, that follows. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Earlier in this trial, you told the court this. You said that you had not only taken Miss Brett's steak after the incident, but also the sergeant's. That to preserve evidence, you had taken both. Ah! He's not happy at all. That's correct. Then please, present it to the court now. The plate that was actually on the victim's table at the precise moment he was shot.
Shut up!
What can possibly tell us now? I mean, a cold slab of tough meat. He can't have the slightest bearing on the case.
Objection!
No, you're not wriggling your way out of it this time, lady. I beg your pardon? Surely you're not that forgetful. Surely you remember the reason why this steak pan promises to prove such a problem for you. No? You're the one who decided it was a problem, not me. The reason the defense asked to see the plate was to confirm something the defendant remembers seeing. Thinks he remembers. I'm quite sure of what I saw, Miss Brett. On the side of the plate that was on the table directly behind Dr. Wilson, there was a clear splattering of blood from the gunshot wound to the victim's chest. I believe the defendant's memory serves him well. And now we have the evidence to prove it. The plate you were eating from, Miss Brett. Let us not prolong this any further. Inspector, you will show the evidence to the court. Present the beefsteak and plate that was originally on the victim's table at the time of the incident. This poor waiter slash policeman is going to die before this trial is over. Like he's been coughing up blood since the beginning. Sorry for keeping you. Here's the other steak and its plate. Also, it's like surprising how this guy saw the two of them and said, yeah, I'm not going to take the one with blood, I'm going to present the other one, and we had to go through all of this just to get here. The blood stain. It's clearly visible. Look!
Yes!
Now this makes everything clear. The blood you can see on the side of the plate shows that at the moment the victim was shot, he was facing the table with his back to me. In other words, it's impossible for Naruhodo-san to have shot the victim. Ah, it can't be. In fact, there's only one person who could possibly have shot Dr. Wilson from the front. I'm sure everyone knows by now who that person is. Ugh. That's right. Miss Giselle Brett. It's you! Don. The Japanese. Me. A Japanese schoolboy. No. 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 Yeah, oh my god, it Oh, that Last night in chat, someone said, "She will fly to heaven with she will fly to heaven with that hat. She will fly to Jesus with that hat." She literally flew. Was that a gosling? I think it was. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. Forgive me. Well, Miss Red, I think it's time you told the court what actually happened that day. The truth, this time. Gladly, Your Excellency. It was I who took the professor's life, using curare. As you surmised, I chose that particular day for one very important reason. The professor had a dental appointment for the extraction of one of his teeth in the morning. So you planned to kill the professor, knowing that no trace of poison would be found in his water. Because curare is unheard of here in Japan. Yes, of course, I never intended to remain at the restaurant for as long as I did. I only need to see the professor take one tiny sip of his water, and it would all be over. I would place the steak I had ordered in front of him to make it appear as though he had been dining alone. And leave him immediately. However, before any of that happened, there was an unexpected visitor at the professor's table. That would be me, I suppose. Yes, you. Who else? That's a trifling matter, but the fact that you had decided to come over to greet the professor meant that I had lost my chance to slip away unnoticed. In due course, the professor took a sip of his water and was paralyzed. I made sure he was sitting in his chair such that he wouldn't fall. There was no going back at that point. So I concocted a plan on the spur of the moment. A plan to pin Dr. Wilson's murder on this innocent man. I happen to know that the professor always carried a gun. I decided to use that fact to my advantage. I had the bottle of curare in my handbag, and my own pistol concealed under my skirt. Yep, we also figured this one out yesterday. And under your skirt. So I was right. There were two guns. Yes. And then I finished my coffee and got up to leave. That's when I noticed the professor's gun, which you had presumably placed on the floor. Place where you were sure that I would notice it. And everything went according to plan. I noticed the gun as I had intended. And then, just as you bent down to pick it up, that's when you shot the professor with your own gun. Even though at that point, he was already dead. Naturally, the gunshot caused a commotion, at which point the waiter appeared. Obviously, I assumed Naruhodo-san was the culprit and apprehended him. I took him to the pantry that adjoins the kitchen and locked him inside. That's when I took the opportunity to turn the professor and his chair around. Because, of course, you needed to make it look like the defendant had shot Dr. Wilson from where he had picked up the gun. She's English but drinks coffee, that's how you know she's a villain. You need to make it look like the defendant has shot Dr. Yeah. So, there you have it. That is the entirety of my misdemeanor. Your Excellency. Yes? I wonder. Might I speak with you in private later? I shall call on you. Thank you. Goodbye then. Good day then, everyone. I hope you can forgive me, Naruhodo-san. And she went to heaven. The end. It would seem this trial has finally run its course. I presume the prosecution is in agreement? This can't be. Taketsuchi Auchi does not lose. Not to the likes of this rookie student. You'd better start getting used to tough opposition. Ryonosuke Naruhodo. Yes? This insult to the Auchi family name will never be forgotten. You've become conceited with age, Council, but the old have to stand aside and make way for the new. Or I will kill you myself. It's the way of the world. May you never forget that. Oh my god, Kazuma is actually going to kill him. Glorious. A 1,000 millennia may pass, and still the Auchi clan will never measure up to the Naruhodo clan. This trial, in the Supreme Court of Japan, will, I believe, go down in history as the start of a new chapter in our country's judicial system. Despite being summoned as the accused, you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, presented an excellent case. Thank you, Your Excellency. The use of evidence and deduction to unravel the truth is a modern methodology. After all, It has only been a few short decades since our country opened its doors to the wider world. But the Western ideas of science are rapidly gaining acceptance here. I feel sure that science will soon bring new methods of investigation and new procedures of justice. A new future of law awaits, but what it will look like, I cannot begin to imagine. That is for the young to pursue. Kazuma Sogi. Yes? After this trial, you are set to embark on a journey of discovery to the illustrious British Empire. Learn all you can. Absorb everything of the wider world that you are able to. And do not forget, fulfill the mission imposed upon you. I understand, Your Excellency. What was that about? Why do you look so brave all of a sudden? Ah, never mind. As for you, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Oh, yes? In you, I sense, how can I put it, unusual potential. I very much look forward to seeing how you can carry that out onwards. Thank you, Your Excellency. It is time to deliver the final verdict. I hereby find the defendant, Ryunosuke Naruhodo, not guilty. Cherry petals. I'm out and about, but I wanted to say hello for a few minutes. Hey, Raitsky, welcome in. Yeah, don't worry. Thank you for taking time, just like a couple of minutes to come in and say hello. It's lovely having you here. Unusual potential / himbo moment. Yeah, exactly. This court is now adjourned. I'm going to take another sip of water. Hold up. Speak Spanish. I'm going to be speaking Spanish until 4:30. Ya estamos en español. A ver. 22 de noviembre, 2:46 de la tarde. Corte Suprema Judicial. Antesala número 5 de los acusados. No me lo puedo creer. No puedo creer que esto haya ocurrido. Momento español. Momento españita. Y momento agüita. Un momento. Lo he conseguido. Me he defendido a mí mismo y he superado ese horrible juicio. Ryunosuke. Lo has conseguido finalmente. Felicidades. Bueno, no podría haberlo hecho sin ti. Gracias, Kazuma. No. Ha sido un placer verte trabajar. Así que me debes un sukiyaki extra grande del lugar en la calle de Yumei University, la Universidad de Yumei. No te olvides. Buenas tardes. Todo vuestro trabajo duro ciertamente ha merecido la pena. Ha pagado sus frutos también, se puede decir. Felicidades a los dos por probar la inocencia de Naruhodo-san. Nuestra confiable asistente judicial. Tú también has trabajado mucho para obtener esos resultados, ¿sabes? Oh, no hice nada. Muchas gracias. Si no hubiéramos tenido ese informe de investigación de Miss Brett, no sé cómo podrían haber acabado las cosas. Tus amables palabras de verdad deberían de ser para mi padre. Deben de ser para mi padre. Y yo voy y en el anterior en el anterior directo cojo y la acuso de ser el culpable, ¿sabes? Yo simplemente estaba haciendo lo que me pidió. Fue su idea para que fuera a la universidad e investigara. ¿Tu padre? Ah, sí, claro. Perdón mi intrusión en... No me sé esta palabra en español. En los procedimientos de la corte. Su excelencia. Misato Mikotoba, asistente judicial de la defensa. Hablando de Mikotoba. Aquí estáis los dos. Creo que os merecéis unas felicitaciones. Naruhodo, has hecho un excelente trabajo. Gracias, profesor. Oh, no, soy yo quien debería agradecértelo. Por de todo... Tus esfuerzos han expuesto al verdadero criminal que se llevó la vida de un amigo mío. De un buen amigo mío. Oh, sí, has mencionado eso antes. Fuiste tú quien invitó al Dr. Wilson a la Universidad Yumei, ¿verdad? Sí, es así. El profesor Mikotoba estudió en el extranjero él mismo. Fue a estudiar medicina forense en Gran Bretaña. Presumiblemente, ahí es donde conociste al Dr. Wilson. Exactamente. Esos días trabajamos juntos en el mismo hospital. Oh, ¿trabajaron juntos? Nunca te había oído mencionar esto antes. Bueno, fue hace mucho tiempo ya. Además. Ahora es tu turno, Asogi. Gran Bretaña es un país increíble. Está encarando... No. Está liderando el mundo. En ciencia, medicina, ingeniería, cultura... Bueno, cultura... y sobre todo, en ley. Aprende, observa y aprende, chaval. Sí, chaval, me voy. Observa qué está ocurriendo en el culmine del... ¿cómo decir esto en español? Melting pot... Es que hay una expresión en español para esto, pero a mí no me sale. No me sale ahora mismo una expresión en español para esto. Luego lo miraré, eso sí. Lo haré, aprenderé todo lo que pueda. Lo juro en esto, el espíritu del clan Asogi. No te vas a llevar esa espada a Gran Bretaña, ¿verdad? Por supuesto que sí. La katana de un hombre japonés es su alma. Este filo me enseña dónde debo de ir. Y corta cualquier cosa que esté en mi camino. Sí, ya he visto lo afilada que es con mis propios ojos. Esto me recuerda. ¿Qué le ocurrió a la mujer? A Giselle Braid, quiero decir. Después de todo, ha sido encontrada culpable de asesinato. Ah, sí, ella. No es fácil decirte esto, pero... ¿Qué quieres decir? Claramente va a enfrentarse al juicio ella misma ahora mismo. La verdadera culpable después de todo. Se irá de Japón en el futuro cercano, hacia Shanghái. ¿Qué? ¿Shanghái? Selbrett no aparecerá en la corte otra vez en este país. Estoy seguro de ello. ¿Qué? ¿Pero por qué no? Se trata simplemente de jurisdicción consular. ¿Consular? ¿Eso es como se dice? Inspector Hosonaga. Fue una batalla... Una dura batalla bien peleada en la corte hoy. Muy impresionante de ver. Ok. 5 minutes have passed and we're back to English. I must congratulate... But what's all of this about consular jurisdiction? We cannot try this particular foreigner for her crimes here in Japan. What? We can't try her? But then who? Who's going to bring her to justice? A British consular court will hear her case, somewhere far away, where our voices can't be heard. But why a consular court? Professor, I simply don't understand. I thought consular courts were a thing of the past now. Now that we have signed the Friendship Treaty. Yes, in normal circumstances, you're right. Then, so long as this is not a serious incident of a highly political nature to our respective governments, they can't invoke a consular court just like that. Oh, can't they? Yes, she's a student, but it doesn't justify our governments making secret agreements about her fate, does it? Yeah, no worries, Rachel. Like the reward is there to be used. Like you can spam it if you want, if you have the points as much as you want. Well, try not too much, but you get what I mean. What I'm saying. Something strange is going on. So Miss Brett can't be held accountable for her actions here in Japan. I'm afraid that for the young student, today's trial was nothing more than a game of all along. There was never any danger of comeuppance for her. Every 2 seconds. I don't believe it. The British government and Foreign Affairs Ministry has demanded that we hand over custody of Miss Brett. They are obviously taking this case of a foreign student committing murder very seriously. But it's all going to change from now on. We can make it change. This is a time of great turmoil, this new era heralded by the start of the 20th century. One day, I have no doubt, that woman will receive the judgment she deserves. Yes, change is coming, and we are the ones driving it. Well, I think that's enough seriousness for now. This evening calls for a celebratory drink. But Professor... You're right. This is no time for gloomy faces. We should be celebrating Ryunosuke's not guilty verdict. Let's start having some fun. In that case, might I suggest La Carnival? Oh, you? That's not... You are no longer head waiter. You are an undercover cop. As the head waiter, I should be delighted to provide you with ample food and drink. You're a detective, Hosonaga-san, aren't you? Let's not worry about details for now. To La Carnival! Will you accompany us, Professor? Of course! La Carnival's food is second to none. I shall go and attend the paperwork for Naruhodo-san's release. Oh, yes, thank you. So Giselle Brett won't be tried here. I suppose that means I'll never know. We'll never find out why she killed Dr. Wilson. Kazuma. Yes, Ryunosuke? I just wanted to say thanks again, that's all. You really saved my skin today. Ha 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 ha! I didn't do a thing. You were the lawyer in there, weren't you? That defense was all your own work. It is my headcanon that... oh, thank you for the hydration. It is my headcanon that Kazuma doesn't know how to laugh. He just does the ha 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 because it's customary to laugh sometimes. That defense was all your own work. Your skills made a difference though. One day I bet you will be the best lawyer in the world. I'm not so sure about that. Be honest. Something kept occurring to me over and over again during that trial. I couldn't help thinking that maybe you're the one destined to become a great lawyer, not me. What? Come on, be serious now. If I helped you today, it was only right at the very start of the trial. But you have a natural talent for it. For being a defense lawyer, I mean. Oh no, not me. All that tense verbal combat? I never want to go through that ever again. I did what you told me to do, that's all. Because I knew I could trust you. That's the point. Sorry? What do you mean, that's the point? Listen, Ryunosuke. Do you know what the most crucial weapon is that any lawyer needs in order to win? Knowledge of the law? No. The ability to believe. To believe? Believe what? A defense lawyer has to fight for his clients. He has to believe in them at all times. Like you believe in me when I said I didn't do it. I'm human, just like you. I don't have superhuman ability to know the truth. But you have to make a choice about what to believe in and stick to it when you're defending someone. Sometimes in the courtroom, you can really be backed into a corner. But being able to remain faithful to what you chose to believe in even then, Well, that's not something that anyone can do. It takes a special kind of person. Believing in your client. Let's look at today's trial. I'm a student lawyer with precious little real experience, but you never stopped believing in me. Well, you face seemingly hopeless situations time and again, but you never stopped looking for the truth. In the end, you found it, through your own efforts, and because you never stopped believing in me. Thanks, Kazuma. There's something I want to ask you, actually, Ryonosuke. Well, it's a favor, really. Something very important to me. I'm serious. What is... Ah, you're still here, are you? Oh, Inspector Hosonaga. I've arranged some rixos for us. Let's go. Thank you. We'll be right there. That man should really check up his tuberculosis or whatever. He's like coughing up blood really bad. Let's pick up this conversation again later. We should be celebrating right now. Your first court victory. And yours to return to Great Britain, don't forget. Ah, yes, that too. He doesn't seem to be very thrilled about going to Great Britain. So, my very first trial came to an end. Kazuma, Professor Mikotoba, Kusato-san, who acted as my assistant, Inspector Hosonaga, who didn't really play much of a part, but still. Poor Inspector, he saved out all of that evidence for us. Ryonosuke, you can't do that to him. It was because of the help and support of all these people that I managed to get through the trial. But more importantly, Kazuma hadn't yet managed to ask his favor of me. Little did I realize just how much it would change my life. End. Oh, yes, please. Episode 2. The Adventure of the Unbreakable Speckled Band. Ah, yes. The Titanic.
In a corner of that small, dark room, Sholmes and I waited with bated breath.
Wait, Sholmes?
In time, there came from the ventilator a hiss and a soft, almost growl-like sound. Suddenly, Sholmes sprang into action, lashing furiously with his cane at a point in the darkness. "You see it, Wilson?" he yelled, his tense voice reverberating through the air. I raised my dark lantern's shutter, and the room slowly came into view. Sholmes was staring intently at one particular corner when he started whispering to me. The victim's most perplexing final words. The speckled band. I believe this is the terrible coil to which you referred, Wilson. In front of us was an enormous adder, its fangs bared as it threatened to strike. It truly was the most terrible speckled band I had ever seen.
I see. 9th of January, 6:37 AM, on board the steamship Buria.
So then, let us unravel this mystery and discover what events led to this curious murder. Pray, do excuse me. The cabin door was bolted from the inside when the man was killed. No marks to suggest the bolt was tampered with in any way. So, this would appear to be a locked room mystery.
Oh god, a locked
In
room.
his final moments, the victim scrawled a message on the floor. Almost certainly with the ink from this upset bottle. a Russian word. So the victim was a Russian man then. And the letters are well formed, suggesting he was compos mentis at the time. This is a most extraordinary script. And evidently not penned by the same hand as this message. In fact, I deduce it was written by someone of a different nationality. This paper seal was placed just prior to the incident, by the victim himself, I would venture. Well, what have we here?
Who are you, and what do you think you're doing here?
No one must touch before maritime police come. We must wait!
Shh. That won't be necessary. You see, in less than 5 seconds from now, I will reveal the killer to you.
What? Don't be absurd. This is murder. I need cabin locked from inside.
Ah yes, the locked room. But that mystery is paper thin.
You don't mean the culprit is in there?
Who are you, and where have you come from?
I'm a great British consultant detective, the only one in the world. Sherlock Holmes. I presume
Sherlock
you
Holmes.
must have heard of me.
Sherlock Flippity Holmes. This is going to be a fun game. Ugh, my head is throbbing. What's going on? Something's not right here. There's trouble in the air. Wait. I can't move. Strange they didn't use the actual name, the character is out of copyright. Yeah, but this game is from 2015, and I think back in that in that year it was still going on. And I think that was like one of the main reasons they didn't translate it until very recently, where they did this enhanced sport and 2 games fusion thingy. And even so, I think they still didn't want to risk it, so they just went with Sherlock Holmes. And I think this game was released last year, actually, now that I think about it. So maybe it was still like barely on the fringe of crossing into copyright or out of copyright. So maybe they just decided to play it safe, but I mean, it's funnier when it says Sherlock Holmes, I think. Why am I in handcuffs? So, you wake up now, huh? We had to drag you out of the wardrobe. I do not believe you could not wake up. You are a true cold-blooded man. You... you found me then. Duh. We found you. And now you pay. Criminal. How long are you hiding in that tiny wardrobe, Ugh. Sorry. Now you have been found, it is time to admit your crimes. Unless you want to find out how cold the ocean is, No, I will tell you everything. I was wrong, it's out of copyright next year. I always thought they were earlier. Yeah, because I think there was a controversy about the author's estate wanting to fight to keep it a little bit longer. And I think that was like mainly the reason why this still became Sherlock Holmes rather than just Sherlock Holmes. There's only one thing I would like to know from you. Isn't that... Why did you do it? Why did you take his life? Miss Susato? Wait, what did you just say? Take his life? Where is he? Where's Kazuma? Ha! You pretend you do not know. You're a wolf in the sheep's belt. You are the killer. Do not try to make excuses. Wow, that's like two cases in a row that we've been accused of being the murderer. What? Kazuma-sama's body was discovered not long ago. Here, in this very cabin, I was bolted shut from the inside. His body? It's why Netflix nearly got in trouble for Enola Holmes, yeah. I think I remember reading something about that. Please, do not try to tell us you were doing this terrible thing in your sleep. Kazuma's dead? But can't be. These handcuffs. Really, you don't think I have to know. Why did you take Kazuma-sama's life? Answer me, please. No. No. Kazuma. It was just 2 short weeks ago. Oh. Are you sure about this? Won't we get in trouble? Don't you find it fun being a stowaway? Besides, how else could you come to England with me to study? It was really something else when they brought your luggage in here earlier, though. The way that Russian crewman just tossed your traveling case onto the floor. I thought I was going to die. Yes, I still can't quite believe that. I'm thinking what kind of voice I want to give Sherlock Holmes, because I cannot do a British voice for the love of my life. I've tried in the past. It doesn't work, trust me. I really didn't think you would be able to fit inside my trunk. You must be even less of a man than you look. Hey, honestly, I thought I had broken every bone in my body. Well, it's about 50 days until we dock in Great Britain. But if you confine yourself to my cabin here, I don't expect anyone will discover you. I hope not. I get the feeling those Russians wouldn't be very forgiving of a stowaway. They're a sturdy bunch, that's for sure. What I want to know is, why do we need to keep it a secret from the young lady? From our faithful judicial assistant Mikotova, you mean? From your close friend, more to the point. Surely we could confide in her, couldn't we? I don't believe she would give me away. No, but if she knew what we had done, that would make her guilty by association. It's best that only you and I know about this. I suppose so. Anyway, it's about the time that the steward is supposed to come and clean the cabin. I know it's cramped, but you'd better get in there, I think. It won't be for long. Can you do an American accent? Just curious. No. I have no idea what an American accent sounds like. And I think mainly that's because in Spanish schools we mix a lot of American English with British English, so it's like a mixture and mixed bag of literally everything and anything that goes. So maybe sometimes we will be pronouncing some things in a certain way and then we will be pronouncing them in another way, but we wouldn't know because our teachers here don't really make that distinction. And anyway, compared to hiding inside my traveling case, it will be a breeze. Yes, but what if the steward decides to open the wardrobe for some reason? Then I will be in for it. Stop worrying. I tell you what, why don't you write "keep out" or something on this piece of paper? What? Then I can stick it over the wardrobe door, or over the wardrobe doors once you are inside. I don't know. Been living at sea for about 15 days. How can this have happened? We're supposed to be going on this adventure to England together. I like how Ryunosuke didn't even consider like talking with his parents or anything. Like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to England as a stowaway. Goodbye. He just like said, yeah, sure, why not? We'll leave you at next port. Stay quiet until then. Don't make more trouble for yourself. Murderer. No, I'm not a murderer. Duh. You said before. You said you would admit everything about your crimes. No, that's not right. I mean, yes, I did stow away on this ship, but... Murdering my best friend? No one else could have done it. Admit the truth. Yeah, because this is a closed room murder. Susato-san. Please, tell me what happened. I need to know. Very well. But there is something I would like to ask of you two. Ugh, those eyes. It looks like she's ready to destroy me. This nightmare is getting worse by the minute. I suppose all I can do is try to find out what really happened. He really has been killed, hasn't he? Isn't just a bad dream? And these handcuffs, they think I did it? They think I'm Kazuma's killer? When they found him, the cabin was locked from the inside. What do you mean? There is no access to the cabin via a porthole window, and the bolt on the door can't be operated from the outside. In other words, after the crime, the culprit couldn't have escaped these four walls. What? Or to put it another way, the culprit can only have been somebody inside this cabin. Or do you have some other explanation? Ryunosuke really needs to play Umineko if he wants to be versed in closed room murders. This is impossible. How did he die then? What happened exactly? Are you still going to deny the charge? Even despite the circumstances? Please, Susato-san, you have to tell me. Cause of death is still undetermined. They don't know how he died? The ship's doctor is examining the body, but of course, he has no post-mortem analysis experience. I don't suppose we should learn more until an expert has been consulted at our next port of call. So presumably that means there were no obvious external signs of injury then. That's true, yes. I see. Can't anyone tell me what actually happened here in this cabin? I don't understand it. Why would anyone want to kill Kazuma? Presumably, that's something you know the answer to better than anyone. Please. What did you say? You were here in the cabin after all. Well, yes, I was, but... He would always wake before dawn and do his training first things in the morning. I was waiting outside his cabin, as I have every day so far on this voyage. This morning, he did not come. I could sense that he wouldn't. Does that mean he was already dead when Susato-san arrived at his cabin door, I wonder? I knocked, but there was no reply. Then I started to become worried, so I went to find a member of the crew. The crewman forced the cabin door open, and when we managed to get inside, sorry. There was Kazuma-sama, collapsed on the floor. The fact that we are not seeing his face makes me very suspicious that he is actually Kazuma. And the white tape there shows exactly where he was found, I suppose. I had no idea anything had happened. I must have been asleep in the wardrobe somehow. I wish it wasn't the case, but that's just very hard to believe. This is all very hard to believe for me too, trust me. Now, I've told you everything that I know. So it's my turn to ask you a question. Yes? Alright. Ugh, my head feels so heavy. It's like throbbing. It's still throbbing like anything. Why are you even on board this ship, Naruhodo-san? You said something before about being a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, yes. I'm afraid that's true. It's 2 weeks since we left Japan now, and I have been shutting up in this cabin the entire time. I have no idea. But how could you have occupied Kazuma-sama's cabin for so long without him noticing? No, that would have been impossible, obviously. Yes, of course. Kazuma invited me. He wanted us to go to England together. He actually asks you? But why? I'm afraid I don't really know the reason myself. I don't understand. Kazuma, why do you want this? What's the real reason? Why go to such extreme lengths to smuggle me to England with you? Because we are partners. And then they kiss. It's an idea that's been on my mind ever since the end of that incredible trial. I think I told you then, didn't I? That you ought to become a lawyer yourself. Well, yes, you did say that. I didn't think you were serious. You have a talent for it, I can assure you of that. But I've never really thought about becoming a lawyer. Well, that's something you can decide for yourself. London is at the spearhead of cultural development, the center of the world in many ways. There can't be any harm in seeing such an important place with your own eyes, can there? Well, no, definitely not. But on a personal level, if you were to become a lawyer, then what? Nothing. Forget it. Kazuma-sama was always saying the same thing. He wanted to change the Japanese legal system. Perhaps he thought that he could do that with you. Yes, maybe. Something's still bothering me a little. Look in his eyes then. It was darker than I've ever seen it before. Susato-san. I'm sorry that we kept it a secret from you. My stowing away on this ship, I mean. If I know Kazuma-sama, I expect he was trying to protect me. Avoid me becoming guilty by association. That's exactly right, yes. Worth perfect in fact. Last night. If you're not the culprit, then tell me. What happened last night here in this cabin? Well, thing is, I don't really remember. Kazuma brought me something to eat, just like he always did. And then I got myself into that wardrobe over there, just like I always did. After that, I fell asleep? Well, yes. So deeply that you didn't even stir when Kazuma-sama was killed? Well, yes. I know it sounds unbelievable, really, I do. But it's the truth. If only I had woken up, then perhaps I wouldn't be in this predicament. And for some reason, my head's still throbbing like anything. Wait, was Ryu not scared drugged then? Really? Is something wrong? Oh, no, it's... Please, forget it. Susato-san, you have to believe me, I didn't do it. I really don't want to doubt you. But the trouble is, there is no one else who could possibly have done this. Ugh. Kazuma, I don't understand. Why? Why did this have to happen? I can't take this. Don't try to go anywhere. You are the perpetrator of this crime. You can't leave. I can't allow that to happen. I'm sorry, but Kazuma was killed right under my nose here. And I didn't do anything to stop it. And now I'm supposed to just sit around, my hands tied, while whoever did this walks free? No, I can't allow that to happen. Well, what do you propose to do then? I'm going to investigate. I'm going to find out exactly what happened here. I'm going to work out who took Kazuma's life, and how and why they did it. So, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to excuse me. Oh. Wow, she knows Kung Fu. Or some kind of martial arts, it seems. Martial arts, sorry, not... did I say martial arts? Am I... my mind is not doing okay right now. Hold up, let me get some more water. What the? That was a Susato takedown. A Susato what? What martial art form is that? I'm going to need you to prove it. Sorry? Prove it? Yes, your innocence. I need evidence. But how am I supposed to... Have you forgotten already? What you achieved just a few weeks ago. You successfully defended yourself in a court of law. Ah, I see. He's expecting me to present some conclusive evidence. I have to get Susato-san to believe me. I will show her some evidence right now that proves that I'm not guilty of this awful crime. My personal student number is engraved on the back here. If you lose your pin, they won't accept you as a Yume student at the university. You may not come in, they price this writing. Of course, you can get a new pin made if you can just tell them your number. I've actually lost mine twice already. Ryunosuke, come on. I still don't know my student number by heart. I always say to myself, I mustn't forget to write it down somewhere. But then I forget not to forget that. You can see the remnants of the glue we used to stick this over the wardrobe doors. Although it wasn't proper glue, of course. We didn't have any of that with us. So I pulverized some rice into a paste to use instead. But to a stowaway like me, every single grain of rice represents precious rations. Ryunosuke, ADHD master. And yeah, absolutely. That's why I sprayed as thinly as I possibly could. I couldn't bear to waste any. Yeah, like, if this was really a closed room, there is a closed room within this closed room.
Yes!
Tell me, when I was discovering the wardrobe before, was this piece of paper stuck over the doors? Oh, yes, it was. I remember clearly. I thought so. Kazuma always put it in place whenever I went to sleep in there. Just in case the cabin steward or another crew member decided to look inside. Oh, naturally, he did the same last night as well. Ah, yes, of course. The gentleman who discovered you peeled that sign from the wardrobe doors before he opened them. But if I were truly the culprit, I couldn't have climbed back inside the wardrobe and stuck this on the outside of the doors on my own. Yes, that's quite true. Why are we upside down? Susato threw us into the floor for trying to leave with a martial arts technique. In other words, it's impossible that I killed Kazuma. As I said, it's a closed room within a closed room. Well, even if you are sprawled hopelessly on the floor, I can see why Kazuma-sama thought so highly of you. Thank you, Susato-san. Now, do you think perhaps you could help me up? Well, in the light of that evidence, I don't see any reason why I should stop you from investigating in here at least. Thank you. So you finally believe me? I'm sorry. No. What? I'm not sure yet. I can't rule out the possibility that you used some sort of conjuring trick to put the sign back in position. What does he think I am? A magician? For now, I suggest you investigate as thoroughly as possible in here. I'll do the same. Alright, let's get to work, Susato-san. Please don't misunderstand me. I still have my doubts. Oh. I shall be watching you, to make sure you do nothing that might disturb the crime scene. I wouldn't want you using your conjuring tricks to destroy evidence, for example. Right. Well, anyway, I should make a start on investigating in here. Examine everything I can. Kazuma, I swear. I will avenge your death. Okay. So I think I'm going to take a 5-minute break. I'm going to go grab something to snack real quick. I kind of want to save. Hold up. Oh, I accidentally... Well, no matter what. I will take a 5-minute break and then we'll continue investigating. So for now, let us go into the other screen. What snacks are we getting? Probably some chocolate and bread. Because I'm really hungry for some chocolate right now. Okay, BRB.
nuts.
Doing a little dance to the bell. Doing a little dance to the bell as the ship comes in.
You better not cut to credits. I swear to God. You bitch-ass game. You bitch-ass game. You bitch-ass game. You stupid, slutty, bitch-ass game. You bitch.
All right, and we're back. Let's go ahead and switch over to the game. There we go. Okay, let's begin examining this place. These are the rules of passage for tours aboard the SS Buria. It's essentially a list of requests from the captain to all passengers on board. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. What? Why are you staring at me? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking. Are you more of a dangerous object or a pet? Oh, wow. I can't decide. Well, one thing's for sure. Either way, I wasn't supposed to be in here. Oh dear, that won't do. Oh, what's the matter, Susato-san? Whenever I'm examining things, I always find myself so focused I forget to look around properly. Ah, yes, that's not good. I don't suppose you're as foolish as me in that regard, are you, Naruhodo-san? Yeah, we can look around. I'm sure you're careful to look around using BM, aren't you? Susato-san, what are you talking about? We can just move our head. No, you have to use B and M. Now, let's investigate all corners of this cabin. Yes, let's do that. Suppose my field of vision has been rather small until now. Now I can fully move my neck. Oh, it has like a tick to show that we've already investigated. Nice. That's very useful, actually. What do you think this is? It looks like a broken piece of glassware. Where the thing was, it appears to have broken cleaning too. The glass is such a beautiful color. It looks like a cute little Netsuke fastener from a kimono outfit. I'm not sure that sounds like Kazuma. He wouldn't have secretly carried a cute little trinket like this around with him. Would he? I don't know, Ryunosuke. You tell me. And the mark beside it, what is it, I wonder? It has a sort of brick-like hue. Yes, you're right. It is the color of brick, isn't it? Even though I don't see anything of the same color anywhere else in this cabin. That's Katsuma-sama's precious sword. He never went anywhere without it. Yes, he was always saying that a Japanese man's katana is his soul. I believe he had to work very hard to convince the government to allow him to bring it on this trip. People that saw just how important it was to him. And now he's gone. But I'm not ready to let his spirit go just yet. Seiki, the Japanese word for justice. The brush strokes are straight and true, just like Kazuma. Yes, his calligraphy always was a reflection of his heart. Yet can you really look at those characters without feeling shame, knowing who drew them so thoughtfully? Of course I can. I mean, I'm innocent, so why shouldn't I be able to? Even though you stole away on this ship? Now you're going to bring that up, are you? I can't win. You know, you would think that a knife and what seems to be a broken leg or something here would be important enough. There's nothing on this table at all. The plate and cutlery are all over the floor for some reason. Yes, it's strange. Last night when I went to sleep, I'm sure everything was still... No, wait a minute. What is it? That's funny, I can't seem to remember anything about what happened after dinner at all. So then perhaps you are responsible for what happened to Kazuma-sama. No. Ah, okay, so now we can... Okay, that makes more sense, yeah. That's my dinner from last night. A roast chicken. It was really tasty. Yes, it was very delicious, wasn't it? But did you eat it on the floor here? I'm not a dog, Susato-san. I ate it at the table, of course. Which begs the question of when and how the plate ended up on the floor. But Kazuma-sama didn't like chicken at all, did he? No, that's right. So he didn't touch it. Which meant all the more for me. Oh no, does that mean poor Kazuma-sama spent his last night on his earth with an empty belly? It's just too horrible. Now I suddenly have a guilty conscience and an achy stomach. What I'm wondering is why the plate is on the floor, perfectly undamaged from this angle, and also upside down. That's a very large traveling case, isn't it? Yes, it carries a lot of memories for me. Memories? What do you mean? Well, that's actually how I stowed away in this vessel. I was brought on board inside that case. Ah, yes, I see it says this way up in Japanese. Which in hindsight, I should have realized the foreign crewmen wouldn't be able to read. I was turned over and over and over, and then I was tossed on the floor in here. Oh dear, being a stowaway isn't as romantic as it sounds. Well, it was less painful than a Susato takedown. Did Kazuma write that before he died? It looks like it's written in ink. He must have knocked the ink pot from the desk when he collapsed on the floor. Then I suppose he wrote this message by dipping his finger in the spillage. Poor Kazuma-sama. No doubt he was in terrible pain. It's almost unbearable to imagine it. I suppose he was trying to leave some kind of a clue in his final moments, was he? I'm sorry, partner, but I can't read your writing. I don't think that's Japanese, Naruhodo-san. What? Then what language is it? It pains me to admit it, but I don't know. It's not a foreign script I'm familiar with. What does it mean, I wonder? This is where dear Kazuma-sama would have sat whenever he was writing. London Diary. Ooh, I want to see what's in that letter. Poor Kazuma, he didn't even make it to his destination. It looks as though the last entry is incomplete. Which means... what? He was in the middle of writing it when the incident happened? That's what it says. It could be a valuable clue. Back onto the floor. That's out of the question. What? Kazuma-sama may have departed from this world, but you must not read his private thoughts. But what if it's something important? Something relevant to the case? Alright, I won't read it. Poor Kazuma-sama. I don't like prying into people's personal matters either. But in this case, isn't the need for clues more important? Perhaps I should see what this Russian crewman makes of the scene of the crime. Excuse me. What? I was wondering how it's going, the investigation I mean. Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes. But it's not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking investigator for information about his crime. Very funny. Oh, it wasn't supposed to be a joke. He doesn't appear to be laughing either. He's convinced you're guilty. He might have some useful information though. I have to keep trying. So, last night, did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all? Niet, of course not. Now back to the corner of room and make silent. I say no more to you. Did I hear a nerve? Ramir there. He seemed a little flustered. I think that's some kind of opening for a ventilator. A hole through which fresh air can circulate into the cabin. Isn't that a little odd? What do you mean? Well, this ventilator, if that's what it is, looks like it must connect to the next door cabin. Yes, it would appear to. You're right. If its purpose is to allow fresh air into the room, Surely it should be connected to the outside. That's true. Perhaps it's so that rain and spray don't find their way in when the seas are rough. Or something like that? I suppose maybe that's it. What? Who is that? He wasn't there a minute ago. As far as I can tell, it looks like he might be European. Oh, how did he? You've noticed the man too, have you? I have no idea who he is or how he got in here, but he looks suspicious and tall. Suspiciously tall. That's what everyone tells me when they see me in real life. That I am suspiciously tall. Naruhodo-san, don't tell me. Do you really not know who that is? Well, no, I don't have any foreign friends or acquaintances at all. He doesn't look like a member of the crew. There's something very unusual about him. And is he investigating Kazuma's desk? Or is he just playing on it? I can't tell. Well, in that case, we simply must talk with him. I might just imagine it, but Asusato-san look almost uncontrollably excited. By the way, I expect that you've noticed already, but just in case. If you press space on people when they're in the crosshairs, you can converse with them. Alright then, I'll get that suspiciously tall gentleman in my sights and see what he has to say for himself. Oh, please do. This is... yes, it's a well-called contraption, I think. What do you mean, contraption? I read about it in a book I was studying that talked about life in Great Britain. Large households often have bell cords like this, which you can pull to ring a bell to summon servants. Really? That sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yes! In the interest of cultural research, obviously. I suppose nobody comes for lowly Japanese people. No, I'm sure it's just that everyone is busy, that's all. It's been 2 weeks since we set sail from Japan. Have you really been living in that wardrobe the entire time, Naruhodo-san? I think living isn't quite right the right description. I want to look something in the options, hold up. Okay, I think living isn't quite the right description. Oh, no, I suppose not. Although it must have been rather exciting, making this voyage in your own secret hideout. The trouble was, I never knew when a member of the crew might come in. So yes, I did basically have to live in the wardrobe. Last night was no exception. But because of that, you had no idea what was happening out here in the cabin. No, sadly not. Okay, I think we should just speak with him. Excuse me. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Shh! This is a critical point in my investigation. Maybe I should leave him alone. He seems a little unfriendly. Yes, perhaps that would be for the best. Greetings, I hope I haven't kept you long. What exactly were you doing on Kazuma's desk just now? Ah, I see. Fascinating. Sorry? What do you see? I feel like he's looking right through me. Oh yes, everything is clear now. The train of reasoning has run its course. My deductions have crystallized. You... Been in Afghanistan, I perceive. Has recently returned, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry? What? Now, whilst venturing toward foreign climes, you find yourself in a most troubling predicament. Oh, well, that's true at least. But how? How the Deuce didn't know that, perhaps? It was really a most elementary deduction, hardly worth explaining. Did you perhaps manage to deduce anything else? Oh, but of course, a great many things. There is no mystery, my dear madam. For example, you have fled your native land of Russia, being, as you are, a merciless revolutionary. You leave 16 victims of assassination in your wake, and now travel to England to blow up the Crystal Tower. And when the very born occupant of this very cabin discovers your identity, you ended his life too. Ah yes, I believe that summarizes the facts beautifully. No need to hide the truth now. Nothing deceives these eyes. Just to be clear, you're talking about me, are you? Certainly I am. Do you see any other in this cabin who fits the bill? A Russian assassin with 16 victims to his name? I don't even see one person who fits the bill. So it's true. It was you who did this, Castlemaster. What? And you're planning a revolution too. It's shameful behavior, Menohata-san. Absolutely wicked. No, listen, there's no way Back into the floor. Now, explain yourself. Tell me everything. This is ridiculous. How could you do it? For pity's sake, open your eyes. I'm not a Russian revolutionary. Obviously. Oh, forgive me. And as for you, what kind of deduction was that? You were just saying the first thing that came into your head. Ah, but was I not right? Was venturing towards foreign climes, you do find yourself in a most troubling predicament. But that's like so general, anyone could have come up with it. Well, yes, maybe. Ah, there you have it, you see. What do you make of that, hmm? Well, to be honest, this ship is en route to England, and I'm in handcuffs at the scene of a murder. So I'm not really sure you could call it deduction. It's more like plain observation. Indeed, an observation, my dear boy, is the basis of all deduction. My method is founded upon the observation of trifles, you see. I announce my findings with a brushy certitude. And more often than not, I'm right. I don't think you introduced yourself. Ah, my apologies. How remiss of me. I am none other than the greatest detective of the century, known to men and women the world over. The inimitable Sherlock Holmes. So, it's really you? The actual Sherlock Holmes? The very same. The inimitable actual Sherlock Holmes. Do you know this man, Susato-san? The most famous detective in the world? Naruhodo-san, of course I do. There's nobody who hasn't heard of him. What planet have I been living on then? We must ask him what he has deduced. He will have worked out the entire case already, I'm sure. Really? Why do I feel uneasy about this? Okay. So, you are a great detective, are you? Sorry, what was your name again? Indeed, I am none other than the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I see, you are German? Herlock, was it? No, I have no hair. I mean, I have hair. Please, call me Holmes. You can read all about my exploits in this exciting London publication. Oh, yes, Rand's magazine, full of wonderful short stories and interest articles from Great Britain. I never miss an issue. I have it sent from England especially. Ah, yes, here it is. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So, you are the protagonist in a series of short stories then? Indeed I am. And you've read so many of your own stories, that's to think you really are a detective? Make no mistake, I'm not the poor deluded fellow you take me for. Your inference is backward. Backward? My trusty biographer records my greatest detecting achievements and chronicles them in the magazine. You have a biographer, do you? Doesn't everyone? Mine goes by the name of Dr. Wilson, personally keeping shop in London. Dr. Wilson. Instead of Watson, it's Wilson. I love it. I must say, thanks to that publication, I've been fantastically busy of late. Why, this very moment I am returning from Asia, having solved the mystery of a cursed royal crown. Really? I can't work out whether I should take this man seriously or not. Deduction, you see, is to me a science. Logical reasoning in its purest form. A science? Really? The astute observer notices even the most subtle of reactions in his subject. A furtive glance, a twitch of a muscle, slight inclination of the posture. Fingernails, arm sleeves, furrows in the skin, all these things are data. Right. You know, it's funny that Ryonosuke is like doubting this, because Apollo Justice basically did this. Like his whole gimmick in his game was basically noticing people twitching a finger or twitching like something in their body to show a small reaction. Like, and the trained logician makes deductions from this data in the blink of an eye. The ultimate conclusion is, without fail, the truth. As I demonstrated only a few short moments ago. How can he look at me in the eye and claim that? So, you see, I have a term both for observation and for deduction, and fame. That is what makes me the one and only Sherlock Holmes. Okay, let's talk about Kasumaster. Have you managed to deduce anything about this particular case yet? Have I managed to deduce anything? My dear fellow. Who do you suppose discovered the culprit in his most cunning hiding place? That's right. It was none other than the great detective before you now, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. Ah, I see. In other words, I'm in this now because of him. When I became anxious about Kazuma-sama this morning, I summoned all of the crew members to force the cabin door open. And I concealed myself among their number, gaining entry to the scene of the crime. Yes, luckily for everyone, the great detective, Sherlock Holmes, was on board. And the handcuffs seemed to be an excellent fit, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah. The very moment I laid eyes on the scene, two facts were immediately apparent to me. Oh, really? Two facts, you say? Mr. Holmes, tell us, please, what two facts were apparent to you when you came into this cabin this morning? Ah, yes, but first, let us be precise. The two facts in question were immediately apparent to me. Yes, I understand. But what were they? Allow me to elucidate. The two facts that I deduced from a mere momentary glance at the scene of the crime were as follows. Number 1. The cabin was locked from within, rendering escape of the culprit out of the question. Number 2. The victim was Russian and killed following a dispute with an acquaintance. Hold on, Mr. Holmes. What made you think that the victim was Russian? Observe the dying message left by the victim on the floor. a word I don't know how to speak. That is the Russian word for the wardrobe. Do you really think Kazuma-sama could have left a dying message in Russian? In their final moments, many find their native tongue filling their head. For this young man, Russian. Kazuma was Russian, was he? Initially, I considered Garderobe may be the name of the killer. Is certain Robert Gard, perhaps. But in the interest of thoroughness, I say it would be wrong not to look inside the wardrobe there at least. Or you found Mr. Naruhodo sleeping soundly. Quite so, I found you, the renowned Russian revolutionary killer. Why is it that I'm Russian too? I observed that you were wearing the same attire as the victim. In other words, you were acquainted. And, if my memory serves, that outfit is the traditional dress of the Russian people. Our school uniforms are the traditional dress of the Russian people? I had no idea. And I had no idea that a detective could get something so wrong. I took a photograph of the victim and the message, that I might analyze it for possible hidden details. Oh yeah, that is Kazuma, alright. This was taken immediately after the young man was discovered, before the body was removed. Yes, Kazuma had already been taken away when I woke up. This is the first time I've actually seen him like this. Sorry. Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, yes, thank you. The photograph of the crime scene has been entered into the court record. The Russian word for wardrobe in purple ink. It will appear to have been written in the victim's final moments. Can I ask you something, Mr. Wait, this is Rio. Can I ask you something, Mr. Swarms? What? Pray. You mentioned Russia before as well, didn't you? You know, when you said I was a fearsome revolutionary fleeing from Russia and all that. Ah, yes. The train of reasoning that led me to the truth. Do you mind explaining that train of reasoning to me, do you think? Certainly, if it interests you. How many times? I'm not Russian and I don't speak Russian. Your deduction just now. Can we talk about your deduction before? Things you conclude about me, I mean. The now famously accurate traveling predicament you find yourself in. Actually, it was the other details that I was more hoping to discuss. You know, the merciless Russian revolutionary and assassin of 16 part? Ah, yes. The more sordid details. It was a fairly commonplace deduction. Here we have this morning's paper. The main headline reads: Revolutionary violent Bolshevik flees Russia via Shanghai. Shanghai. I'm not sure what I'm reading anymore. This vessel made a port call to Shanghai yesterday, and last night the young Russian was murdered. Since when was Kazuma Russian? It sounds like Mr. Shams has concluded that he was Russian because of what Kazuma-sama wrote on the floor. It was a simple act of reasoning that to realize that the culprit of this crime was the same merciless revolutionary. The one who would kill the very man who helped him to escape after his true identity was discovered. Yes, you. Villain Bolshevik. No, how could it be me? I don't look like anything like this man. Just look at his face. Well, you are a fearsome revolutionary after all. Therefore, you have no doubt learned to revolutionize your appearance as well. Dad, are you revolutionizing your appearance every day? Don't forget to do that for the revolution. Everything is counting on everyone revolutionizing their faces according as they see fit. Ah, please. And I might add, Your name does not appear on the ship's passenger list. Did I say more? Well, that's because I'm a stowaway. What about the other details? The 16 victims of assassination and blowing up the Crystal Tower. Ah, yes. The journalist clearly interviewed the man and printed all those particulars in the article. The deeds the man has perpetrated thus far, and those he's plotted. Yes, everything about this revolutionary Bolshevik was included. There can be no mistake. Do revolutionaries usually agree to interviews with newspaper reporters, I wonder? What about the part where you said I was just returning from Afghanistan? Also quite clearly stated here in the article. Bolshevik is recently returned after a period of subversive activities in a war-torn region of Afghanistan. Where even is it anyway? This Afghanistan place. Here, take the paper for yourself. As a little memento of this great deduction. Oh, thank you. I have stored all of that is of interest to me within its pages. But I see no rubbish bin nearby. The fact that he escaped via Shanghai gives me like the creeps because the Sailbread was going to Shanghai as well. So maybe that is related somehow. And you may find yourself the article on the back page of interest as well. On the back? Cast your eye over it sometimes if the interest takes you, though you may need someone to interpret. It's all written in Russian. I couldn't hope to read it. I suppose it wouldn't hurt just to glance at the article. Maybe there might be a picture or two. Okay, let's see. I'm afraid I can't read a word of Russian. No, me neither. I have no idea what any of this says. Ah, the pair of you floundering is a sorry sight. Allow me to offer some assistance. The article on the front page of this newspaper is concerned with a fearsome Russian revolutionary. It reads, Revolutionary violent Bolshevik? Flees Russia via Shanghai. Yes, you told us that before. It reveals also that those who see the man's beard with their own eyes never live to tell the tale. Oh my goodness, he is fearsome. Well, presumably the newspaper photographer was alright, wasn't he? The solution is obvious, of course. If he despises his beard to that degree, he need only shave it off. I'm not quite sure that's the problem, Mr. Sholmes. Oh? This is interesting. Have you found something relevant, Naruhodo-san? Well, no, I mean, it looks like it might be interesting. I can't read a single word, I'm afraid. No, nor can I. But look at this picture. Perhaps it's about a beautiful young Russian princess, do you think? It is very pretty, isn't she? I suppose you enjoy articles like this, do you? I don't know. I can't make any sense of it. Ah, I'm glad you've noticed this article. Ah! Allow me to give you a short... Did Sholmes just push... what's her name? Misato? Out of the way? Did he just push her out of the way? Allow me to give you a short summary of its contents. Oh, thank you. He pops up everywhere, this Mr. Sholmes. It's about the disappearance of a young lady last night. Renowned prima ballerina of the Nova Beach Ballet disappears from Shanghai. During a performance in Shanghai, the famous dancer was reported missing. She is, of course, the talented young Nikolina Pavlova. Why are Russian names so hard to remember? It would appear the woman was in costume when she was found to be missing from her red dressing room, wearing the diamond tiara you see pictured, which is worth some 20,000 rubles. Oh, how much is 20,000 rubles? I have no idea, but I'm quite sure it must be an unbelievable sum of money. Susato, not Misato, Susato. Sato-san's eyes are shining like diamonds themselves. The tiara is the property of the Nova Beach Ballet. It would seem that the director is beside herself with worry. Yes, I am not surprised. The company is most anxious to recover both Miss Pavlova and the valuable tiara. They've requested international assistance at all ports with sailing to Great Britain. Could this be another case of a Russian fleeing his or her country? That seemed to be the Russian thing to do. I'm not even going to dignify that with a response, Mr. Naruhodo. The article was updated. Okay. Before we started talking, you were examining Kazuma's desk, weren't you? Kazuma? Ah, yes, the victim. Did you notice anything useful? Anything at all? Observe for a moment the desktop of the victim. We see that the victim was engaged in penning some text. London Diary. Kazuma was keeping notes of the trip. Ah, but I don't think you should read his private writings. It could upset people. Tragic. And something you ought to perhaps elucidate before the act of reading. You mean you've read already? It is my business to know what other people do not. Yes, believe it or not, I know a smattering of Japanese. Oh, I see. Well, you are about to know what a Susato takedown is. Susato-san? And you're going to throw the detective with one of your trademark takedowns? I'm sorry, Naruhodo-san. What on earth do you mean? Life is so unfair. Anyway, return to the matter at hand, namely this diary belonging to the victim. It would appear the final sentence is incomplete, as if the author were cut short. Tell me, what is the nature of the writing? Pray be precise as to details. Oh, but I thought you knew Japanese? A smuttering, dear boy. A smuttering. Sayonara, bonsai, mikado, nado nado. I trust you are suitably impressed. But this diary is littered with complicated looking characters, of which I can read precisely none. So what was all that showing off about before then? If you would be so kind as to show me, I would be happy to read to you, Mr. Soames. I'm much obliged, my dear madame. The final entry here in Kazuma-sama's diary consists of just two short sentences. The first reads, 1:03 AM. I can hear a faint whistling sound. A whistling sound? These are very deep waters. Pray, go on. The second sentence reads, 1:35 AM. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? What on earth does that mean? I have no idea. I've never heard that expression before. The ventilator grill, you say? The man was presumably referring to the lattice there on the wall, which connects to the adjoining cabin. Yes, the adjoining cabin. Kazuma's diary has been entered into the court record. I'm going to take a sip of water. So, I believe I've given you enough to consider for the time being, at least. Do you have somewhere to go? It happens, the victim's writings in his diary have piqued my interest. The matter warrants further investigation, I believe. And if I am still too long, the seasickness takes hold. Oh, I suppose. You're thinking of investigating the cabin next door, which the ventilator connects to? Great detectives are a curious breed. Our minds rebel at stagnation. We crave mental exaltation. So yes, I intend to investigate. Hence the truth will become clear soon enough. Do you think perhaps that we could go with you? No. That would be somewhat complicated. What? But why? A simple glance at your wrist should reveal the answer. Oh, this. After all, you're the prime suspect in this matter. No. There's no point in trying to turn it into a question. You're the one who decided I was the culprit in the first place. Whatever do you mean? I have no recollection of naming you as the culprit at any point. You must be joking. You just said it only a moment ago. Oh, dear me, you are clearly misguided. I would have no cause to say such a thing. Well, actually, Mr. Solms, I did hear you say that too. You're quite sure? Oh, that's very strange. I wouldn't have said you had the face of a criminal, you know. Not really. So what? Were you looking at my knees before? I'm a great detective you are. Well, anyway, I was then, and this is now. What do you mean? What I mean, sir, is this. If you are the culprit, then you must play the part more convincingly. Roll over and accept your fate. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, this guy is a fucking joker. Now he's just being plain rude. And off he goes, having just laughed in my face. His sense of humor is as twisted as his name. Teruhoto-san, what are you just standing there for? We must go and investigate the cabin next door as well. Aren't you forgetting something? What about this? Oh. After Kazuma-san spent his dying moments struggling to leave us a clue, you are willing to give up? You're just going to roll over and accept your fate? Ugh. As if you gave me any choice in the rolling over part. For one second I thought she was going to like slap the chains with I don't know, her hand or something. I think we still have some investigation to finish off in here first, don't we? Let's carry on examining what we can in this cabin while we wait for a chance to sleep next door. Good idea. The situation doesn't look good for me, but there are still things I can do to help myself. And I owe it to Kazuma to do everything I can to find a way out of this. And bring the real culprit to justice. So we still need to... Oh, the door. When I went for help and the crewmen forced the door open, this vault had been firmly closed. It's quite a small vault, and not particularly sturdy. It just slides across to secure the door shut. Still, with the door bolted, there will be no way to get in or out of the cabin, that's for sure. No wonder everyone suspects me. When she glares at me like that, I feel tense all up and down my spine. I remember reading once in a detective novel. The culprit used a needle and thread to draw a bolt across from outside the room in a situation like this. Yes, that's a clever trick, isn't it? I'm an avid reader of detective stories myself. I'm going to save up that for later. But the door of this cabin and its frame are made of metal, and they seal together perfectly. There will be no possibility of using that needle and thread trick here, I'm afraid. When she glares at me like that, I feel pins and needles all up and down my spine. I think... Wait. Excuse me. What? I was wondering if I could ask you a favor. Would you mind if I investigated a little outside? Grandmother told me Japanese people do not make jokes. But it's not true, I see. Sorry? The criminal asking prison guard to help him escape. Very funny. We're in the middle of the sea, there is no chance of me escaping. Yet, you stay in this cabin until next port. Then it is up to Hong Kong police to decide what they do with you. You stay. Alright. There's no point trying to appeal to this man's better nature, that's for sure. I think we've already checked everything. This is, yes, it's a bell cord. What do you mean contraption? I read it in a book. I was saying that talk about life in Great Britain. Sounds almost magical. Shall we give it a little try? Yeah, well, I think we already read this. Yeah, we already read all of this. Thanks to that so-called detective, I'm even more stuck inside this cabin than I was before. For the time being, I suppose I will just have to focus my efforts on investigating in here. Okay, but like, what else is there to investigate? Oh, the... For some reason, this wasn't like available to investigate earlier. The books have fallen over on the shelf, look. They fall toppled the same way. And what's this? A statue of some god of the sea? Although he's fallen over as well. Yes, it's almost like as if the whole cell has been ransacked, and everything mown down at once. I wonder if... Perhaps it was Kazuma-sama doing his morning sword training, do you think? I seriously doubt it. Then perhaps... It was you, Naruhodo-san. A fit of rage. I wouldn't have bothered leaving the wardrobe just to mess up a few books in a statue. Even the way these things have been thrown about have anything to do with the case, I wonder. Well, I'll just set everything straight again. I don't like to see a mess. Oh, look over there. The crewman, do you mean? He wasn't there before, was he? That's what I thought. Then we try talking to him. Probably because I'm likely to get yelled at again. I suppose I could try. Wait, those glasses. Is that... something wrong, Naruhodo-san? Oh, no, it's just that crewman standing by the door. I can't help feeling like I've seen him somewhere before. Oh, yes, you're right. It does look familiar. Excuse me, sir. Yes? What can I do for you? Bro. I recognize that face, but it can be. It is. I didn't know you were here, Inspector Hosonaga. Hello again. What are you doing here? I think that should be my line. I was so stunned when I saw you. My heart stopped. Nearly stopped, I hope. I received some special orders to go undercover as a member of the crew on board this ship. Is he going to show up in all the cases as undercover? Again? You certainly seem to enjoy undercover work, Inspector. If there's anything I can do to help you, please ask. I never expected to see this man on board, but perhaps his presence can help me out of this hopeless situation. So, what are your special orders this time, Inspector? Yes, and why are you dressed as a member of the crew? Yeah, he's not going to tell us that easily, right? I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. I take full responsibility. For what? My orders were to act as Asori-san's bodyguard. It was Minister of Justice Jigoku who pushed for this overseas study tour to go ahead. And he entrusted me with ensuring that Asori-san reached Great Britain without being assassinated. Assassinated? How? How could that even have been a possibility? I'm not sure. But these are complicated times. There are tensions between the world's greatest powers. Mr. Jigoku, that we should be prepared for all eventualities. Incredible. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama was assassinated? Obviously, we're going to give Asori-san a visible security escort. This is why I'm undercover now, posing as one of the crew. I see. And I didn't take my eyes off him the entire time we've been on board. From morning until night. Every day. I never imagined it would happen here, inside his own cabin. Not here on the first class deck. I failed miserably at my assignment, and Asori-san is dead as a result. I'm a disgrace. All I can do is humbly apologize. Inspector. If there's anything at all that I can do to help now, just say the word. We're doing what we can to investigate Kazuma's death ourselves. I thought you might be. You didn't do it, did you? You're not the killer? Of course not. We'd really like to investigate the cabin next door. Yes, so we need to be allowed out of this cabin. I'm sorry. What? You've been deemed a risk to the ship's safety. If you move to even touch the handle of the cabin door, that stormy-looking seaman there would surely snap your neck in two. I suppose I'm not just a stowaway now. You think I'm a murderer as well? Would it be possible to give me something to work with, do you think? I'm going to need something persuasive. What do you mean? I had a solid reason why the next door cabin should be investigated, for example. I would do everything I could to persuade the captain to allow it. Really. I would lay my life on the line if I had to. But I don't see how... There may be a way. What? Really? Think of how you try to persuade me of your innocence, Naruto-san. By presenting me with a piece of evidence that you already had in your possession. Evidence? It's just the same as when you are in court. You must have done it many times during your trial. Please select the present panel and choose some evidence that Inspector Hosonaga could use. So, evidence that would give us a viable reason to investigate the next door cabin, is it? Alright, yes, I think I might know what we can use. Let's see if I can present the detective with the evidence that he needs to persuade the captain. Yeah, it's the diary. What's that? It's Kazuma's diary. Just before he died, Kazuma-sama wrote something rather strange in his diary. Strange? In what way? He wrote, what looks like some kind of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. A speckled band? That is strange. Yes, we're still trying to work out what he meant by that. What I would like to know is... Don't tell me. The ventilator, is it? You are very astute, Inspector. That ventilator clearly joins to the next door cabin. That's right. So if we can investigate in there, we might be able to work out what the speckled band was. Alright then. I can't leave this cabin at the moment. I'm stuck here until we arrive at the next port. The captain has given me strict orders to guard the scene of the crime, you see. I'll have to entrust the investigation to you. Really? You're willing to do that? Yes. As long as you don't leave the first class cabin area. I'm afraid I can't remove those handcuffs though. But what about the captain? Aren't you going against his direct orders? I'm a man of my word. And I promise you that I will lay my life on the line, if that's what it takes to convince the captain. After all, I failed to keep Asogistan safe. This is the least I can do. Thank you. Let's seize the moment then, Naruhodo-san. Just select move and we can leave this cabin at last. Move. Alright, let's see what we can find out. A cabin on the SS Buria and the scene of the crime. Kazuma was occupying this cabin for the voyage to Britain, along with me, as a stowaway. 9th of January, 7:48 AM. SS Buria, first class cabin passageway. Phew, I'm finally out of that cabin. To admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. Less spacious out here than I thought it would be. And this is the most luxurious accommodation. Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on this study tour by the government. That's why he was being put in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in Steerage. Really? That must be awful. Oh, look over there. Another crewman keeping watch, and he looks enormous, even if he's sitting down. The door next to him leads to the second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't. I suppose... like people in handcuffs? Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you would be used to the sea by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already. Well, yes, I know. The thing is... I was inside Kazuma's trunk when I first came aboard. Ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe. It must have been a very trying time for you. Please, don't give me that pitying look. There's a huge book on top of the table there, and there is a pen next to it. Yes, that looks like the ship's log. Shall we have a little look through it? The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. And nothing, no reaction at all. I thought he might appreciate the compliment. I'm not sure that rough and ready is much of a compliment, Naruhodo-san, even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank. Presumably that means that there was nothing to report. That's the way to the second-class area of the ship. Something wrong? I was thinking about making a run for it. Just for a moment. Things aren't exactly going well for me. I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reach for the handle of the door, that burly seaman would surely shoot you dead. Wait, does he have any guns? Oh dear, I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there. No, I started it with my talk of running away. And there's no way I could run away while Kazuma's death remains a mystery anyway. Excuse me, but could I ask you something? You little stowaway murderer. That wasn't a good start, was it? Alright, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask something of you? You little third-class lady's maid? Oh. We seem to have caught this sailor on a bad day, Susato-san. I am not sailor. My mother gave me name. I am a senior crew. Beef Stroganoff. Whew, the best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. Mr. Stroganoff. about this first-class cabin area. Here we are in finest part of Buria's steamship, for very important reasons. What sort of very important reasons? Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret. Many important persons. That is why I am always guarding this place. Wow, gosh, that's amazing. But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in ocean, but Stroganoff is not animal. Thank you? If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's currently occupied? Da. Susato-san, did you understand that? It sounded like da. I think it's probably Russian for yes. Or no. Genius. It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation. Well, it sounds like there is somebody in the next door cabin at least. Yes, it's tantalizing. Passenger in the next door cabin. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's? His name is Mr. Grimsby Roylott. He's a very important Western gentleman. A Western gentleman. Do not think about it. It has nothing to do with murder of student boy. How can you be so sure about that? Mr. Roylott is an authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in lowly students from insignificant Far East Islands. That was harsh. Did you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard? That is not your business. Come to think of it. Even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Kasuma's cabin the entire time, I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone there. Well, presumably, since this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important, is that right? That is not your business. Are you on watch here all the time, Seaman Stroganoff? Da, all the time. So criminals like you cannot come in, or get out. I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all? It is sad about student boy. Were you on watch last night as well? Of course. And did you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual? Head! Susato-san, did you understand that? It was clearly a no. Oh, so niet? I saw nothing unusual. Nothing at all. And you didn't hear any strange noises? Or sense anything was wrong in some way? Oh, he looked away. I said, no! Sorry. I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. This is enough. I cannot say more now. Oh. It is time for me to report to Captain. We must return to cabin. Yes, alright. Bulkhead to second class area is staying locked at all times. You escape when the lobster whistles on top of the mountain. Or as English say, when the pigs fly. Yes, I understand. Good. Now we can investigate this area properly. Are we? Definitely. This looks like a plan of the SS Borea. It shows its deck, look. The Borea is a large-scale steamship with a triple-skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering. Well, it's been playing on my mind for a while now, but... How is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean? Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruhodo-san. It is? Well, consider the Japanese archipelago. The islands of Japan? Yes, they're not metal, but they are enormous lumps of earth, many times larger than the ship. They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them. I mean, it's the 1890s. When was the tectonic plates theory actually accepted by the world? I think it was like 1920s or something like that. So yeah, they probably don't know that all islands are connected to the bottom of the sea some way or another. But I suppose so. Okay, we've looked at all of this. What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape, isn't it? That's the emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it. Oh, an alarm. It says, press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop. Oh, this I have to see. What are you doing, Naruhodo-san? You mustn't touch it. But this is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs. You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you would be in an even worse situation. She's right, you know, Ryunosuke. I just wish everything would just stop. This ship included. If you had to do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else. Ah, a trap for catching mice. Yes, we have plenty of those back home in Japan. Although they seem to be using a lump of chalk or something as bait. Let me see. Yes, I think that's what is called cheese. It's made from the milk of cows. Cheese? I wonder what that tastes like. It's delicious, Ryunosuke, trust me. Cheese is the best. You can't eat it, Naruhodo-san. The trap will snap shut on your fingers. Really? But, I suppose you're right. You weren't actually going to try it, were you? All I've had to eat for the past couple of weeks is Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe. Or you. I'll find a little snack for you later. This is it. This is the cabin next to ours. The one the ventilator connects to. Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging. Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. No answer. Lot of luck, it seems. There's no one in there to help with our inquiries. Oh, how annoying. Oh, what was that? It came from inside the cabin. The high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman. Stand aside. I'm about to break the door down. Mr. Sholmes. I shan't be stopped. When the feat is on me, I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. Please, wait, Mr. Sholmes, this isn't... I think this door is going to be... Oh, the door doesn't appear to be bolted. It doesn't? Then how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular urge? What, pray, can I kick? I think we should just go in. There's no time to think about stress relief. Ninth of January, SS Burial. First class, cabin, number 2. Who are you? A Western gentleman? This man looks Russian to me. Wait, we heard a woman scream. A woman? Don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in this cabin. True, this old man does appear to be the only person in here. But in that case, who just screamed? Get out, all of you! Now! Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimsby Roylott, I believe? Yes, that's me. And you are? I am the one and only, the actual Sherlock Holmes. You've heard of me, no doubt. No. I am a great detective among great detectives. One who adorns the covers of popular magazines, no less. I assure you, You may trust me completely. Man uses that magazine like a business card. A detective? I do not trust detectives. We distinctly heard a scream emanating from within these walls. But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe this time. So might it be so bold as to ask you to open that small traveling case? Oh, don't be stupid. How could anyone fit in a small trunk like that? Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Traveling inside one's trunk. Don't look at me. Oh my! Did you see that, Mr. Naruto? Yes, the case just shook. Leave now. Otherwise, I will call the steward. So this is Kasuma's neighbor, Mr. Grimesy Roylott. No doubt about it. This strange Russian man is hiding something. I couldn't agree more. Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns. Okay, so I think we're going to leave it here for today. It's been like a lot, like we've done a lot of stuff today. Let me quickly back to title. Let me check. We have been live for around... Oh, almost 4 hours now. Anyways, I'm going to be leaving here for today. I don't know if I will be streaming tomorrow, but maybe I will be streaming on Sunday. Who knows? Depends on the mood, really. Anyways, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you Empirical Woodland. Thank you Bipsalt, Blue Parrot, Jesu, Damian, everyone, thank you for coming along. It's been fantastic. And once again, let's see if there's like anyone we can raid at the moment. There doesn't seem to be anyone live at the moment, so I think we're just going to close it here for today. Thank you everyone for coming along, and I will see you on the next time. See ya!